Man, you meet the craziest people when you're out cruising around with your buddies, picking up chicks. And the story is coming up now. Her name starts with E, so let's call her Eve. Don't necessarily like that name, but it's good enough for her. So basically, I was out cruising. There was a street we used to cruise up and down called Archer, and you could find guys to race. So the guys went there to race other guys. You'd meet guys, you'd race up and down the street, or you'd go to another area that was blocked off, like industrial area where there's no traffic, and then they'd block off the streets and you could drag race. So that's why the guys would go there, cruise and stuff like that. And then girls would go there, whole carloads full of girls, because they want to meet the guys. So it wasn't, uncommon that you would pull over a carload of girls and start talking to them. And so I'm with my best friend at the time. I saw this girl kind of like looking over at me and waving and whatever. And I'm like, hey, let's talk to him, And we ended up, going out. Turns out she met a lot of guys on that street. And I was always getting into fights because, I'd see them on the street and then they would be like, oh, that's, my chick. I'm like, well, she's with me. So whatever. But anyway, she was crazy. And my mom hated her. And one time her and my mom got in a fight real bad. And she's like, you better leave and come with me right now. And I was trying to be supportive of her, I guess, and maybe just take her side. I kind of thought my mom was right. But, I left. She's like, you're going to come and stay at my house, All right, fine. I packed up some stuff. I went to her house. Well, her mom and dad lived there. She lived with her parents, But the parents didn't get along. And they were lived in separate rooms, I think. I never went upstairs, so I don't know what the situation was up there. And I couldn't go in the basement either because there was these killer dogs down there, Dobermans or something. So they would either be in the backyard or in the basement. And I'm pretty sure the mom was a witch. It was a crazy situation. She was nuts. I don't know. The mom wasn't, she was nice. She wasn't but I don't know. And the house they lived in, it's actually in, I don't know if I should say this, but it's actually in books as being this haunted house in Chicago. It was moved from locations, and I kind of think the house was haunted. She would always call me at work, and, I'd have all this drama, and I'm like, look, I'm at work. I can't be on the phone. I can't, Well, I had already that week, almost every day that week, had to leave work to go and deal with her drama. And so this particular day, she calls me up and I'm like, I can't leave. I'm going to get fired if I leave. You're seriously affecting my job right now. So she says, do you hear that? And I hear honking and, my car alarm going off. My car was in her garage. She's like, that's me backing your precious car out into the street. I had two cars at the time. So the one I was driving, which was just an old 82 Mustang, and this one was a 93 Mustang. It was 90 something newer model Mustang, and it was I built it up to be kind of a race car and had a stereo system and everything in it. And it was a bad neighborhood she lived in, so I couldn't have the windows down, the car out in the middle of the street, the alarm going off, whatever. So I told my boss I have to leave. There's no getting out of it. I have to leave. I think I did end up getting fired eventually after that job, probably because of that. But anyway, I get there, and it was just something stupid. It wasn't even, and I knew it was too. That's why I didn't want to leave. But she just was so dramatic all the time about everything. And so I'm like, you know what? I can't deal with this anymore. I'm going to lose my job over this. Now you're threatening my car. You're just, she threw something at me, like a alarm clock or something, hit me in the ankle bone, that hurt. So I'm going to pack up my stuff. I'm going to leave. So I pack up my stuff, and in the front door, I can't go out the back door because the dogs are out there. I try to go out the front door, and she's got this like double door entry, and she wedges herself in between the two doors so I can't open the doors. And every time I was trying to pack up my stuff, she's like, I would just get it almost all packed, and she would like rip everything out. You're not going, don't leave me, you know. I'm like, no, I'm going. I ended up having to call the cops, and they had to come and just say, look, calm down, and like kind of hold her back while I just grabbed my stuff and I left. A few weeks went by, and her mom called me, and she's like, you have to come here. She's driving me crazy. She's begging me to call you to talk you into coming back, whatever, and I'm like, I'm not coming back. And like, well, we got your mufflers or catalytic converters or something like that for my car, some car parts I had there. So at least come and pick them up and we'll talk, and I'll arrange it for a time when she's not here. I'm like, okay, if you can assure me she's not there, or else I'll just leave the stuff. I don't care. So I went there. She gave me the stuff, and I talked to her mom, and her mom's like, look, she really loves you, but has this chemical imbalance where you think you're doing something nice for her. And it was true. Every time I did something nice for her, she would rip my head off. So she's like, you think you're doing something nice for her, you go take her out for, a restaurant or something like that, or for ice cream or anything nice. But that throws off her blood sugar level, and then she wigs out. So I didn't know this. I'm like, well, that would have been good to know back then, but it's too late now. Like, I'm not going back to that. So that was the end of her. So then one day I was cruising Archer again with my buddies, and saw a carload of girls, and pulled them over. I started talking to them, and then I met, her name starts with L. We're going to call her Leslie. And man, she was just like, she was hot, and like, it was lust at first sight. No, it was, I liked her a lot, and so she was, tall, skinny. She was a model, and well, not quite a model, but gonna be one. We went out for a while. I asked her out. Actually, what happened was I showed up at her work afterwards. And then we just started, dating after that. And her mom hated me, completely hated me. She was supposed to be, or gonna be a model. In fact, she was gonna be a model. And they had it narrowed down to like a handful that was going to be their next choice. And she was one of those that they narrowed it down to. And it didn't work out because they ended up going with, in a completely different direction. They hired their first black model. So this is the time frame that we're talking about. And she was devastated. Like, she didn't want to leave her house for like 3 weeks after that. She cried every day. It was horrible. And, I felt bad, and I consoled her and comforted her and stuff, but secretly inside, I was like happy about it. I'm like, yes. And it's just because, with my own insecurities and selfishness, I guess, because I didn't want her going away to Italy and Paris and New York and hobnobbing with other model guys. And I'm just this below average looking guy. And, that was tough, but it was tough on her, and I tried to console her as best as I could while secretly being happy about it. But I messed that relationship up. I thought she was the one. I thought she was, like love of my life. We went to a block party, and there was some girl that was kind of, I don't think she was flirting with me. She thought she was flirting with me. She thought I was flirting back. I wasn't. I don't know. Maybe I was just trying to make her feel like, a certain way. I don't know, jealous maybe a little bit. I don't think it was even really the case. I think we're both putting too much into it to even think of that. I don't think anything was anything. We were just people at a party hanging out. And I would have been happy just leaving the party with her, whatever. It didn't turn out that way. It turned out that we got in a big fight, and I left her there. And I was cocky. I don't know why. But like, I didn't really look back. I moved on right away. But then after like 6 or 8 months or something, maybe 6 months went by, I realized I was dating other people, and everybody that I was dating, I was comparing with her. And I'm like, you know what? Nobody's comparing to her. I kept finding stupid little stuff I didn't like about everybody that I was talking to, and anybody that I would meet. She set the bar high, and even the little quirks and things that problems I had with her, I realized like I must have been really nitpicking, because it's so much way better than all the other people that I was dating. Oh, and by the way, we had this I had a pager at the time. We had cell phones at the time, but you couldn't really text messages weren't a thing. You had a beeper, a pager, and you could text a number on it, and then you'd call that number back. But we had a code, like we could say "I love you," and it was 143, because 1 is the I, and then there's 4 letters in love, and then there's 3 letters in you, whatever. And then you could say "I miss you" was 103. And what was really cool too is if there was a song on the radio that you wanted them to hear, you could type in 1019, and that meant tune in 101.9, and then you'd hear the song. One time, I'm going to suck it up. I'm just going to go to her, and I went to her house, and it was late at night, and she wasn't home. So I waited out there. I thought, well, I'll catch her when she comes home. I waited half a block down until she pulled in. She pulled in the driveway, and I went running up to the driveway. And as soon as I walked up the driveway, I could smell her perfume, and I knew. And then when she got out of the car, I saw she's in sweatpants. This is how she is when she goes to hang out at a guy's house. She's wearing casual sweatpants and lots of perfume. But she looked really good and smelled really good. And a week or so before that, I left a rose on her car. My beeper went off, and it was, listen to the radio station, and it was "Every rose has its thorn." So that didn't go over well, I guess. Although she knew who it was from, so I thought that was a good sign. I always try to see the good in things, positive in things. So I walk up the driveway, and she sees me coming. She probably knew it was coming because she saw the rose, a couple days before. Guys, you should know this. Whether you're right or wrong, if you're trying to make up, you're wrong. Just tell them, what they want to hear, which is, of course, that it's all your fault and whatever. Because, in the end, you did something to piss them off and whatever. So, I basically just said, I'm sorry that I acted the way I did at that party. And I don't expect you to take me back for that. And I can tell that you're just coming back from a guy's house. So I'm not even going to ask you to get back together or anything like that. But it's been grating on me that the way we left it, I told you off and made it seem like it was all your fault. And I could see that I did a lot of things in the relationship that were wrong. And I was wrong for that. And you're awesome and perfect. And I've been dating other people, and nobody compares to you. And you're so perfectly awesome. And if you would ever take me back, I would put you up on a pedestal and treat you like a queen. And, the bottom line is I just wanted you to know that I came to the realization that I was wrong and that you were right. And I shouldn't have acted that way. And I shouldn't have broke up with you for that. And then not even called or anything after that to try to make up. And she said, well, thank you. I appreciate you, fessing up to that. And, but, I have a guy now, and he treats me like a queen. And, that was kind of heartbreaking. But, I said, okay, well, I wanted you to know, and I'm sorry, and good luck with everything. And I went away. After that, this was some time now after that, I guess she paged me, and then I called her back and talked or whatever. Anyway, she just said, hey, where are you going tonight? Because I always went out all the time. I had like I knew where all the party spots were. It didn't matter what day it was, Tuesday night spot, Wednesday night spot, Thursday night spot, Friday, Saturdays, even Sunday night spots, Monday was usually date night because there wasn't any good bars on Monday night. And Tuesday maybe kind of too. Anyway, so it was a weekend. It was going to be the weekend coming up. She's like, hey, where are you going to go? I'm looking for a place to go. And she knew I knew all the, hot clubs and stuff like that. So I told her that I'm going to go to this, club wherever. And then, I'm at the club that night and she shows up. And we, I don't want to say hooked up because nothing really happened, although we just, hung out all night and had a great time. And then I brought her home and her mom hated me, so I would have to drop her off like on the block behind her block and she'd walk through the backyards or in the alley behind her house. And so, we parked there for a little while, talked a little bit more. We made out a little bit and she told me, I wish she had a place to go, like hinting I should maybe go get a place, a hotel room or something. And I'm like, as much as I'd love to, you have this boyfriend and, I don't want to be, I don't want to take, his leftovers. I mean, I'm not that I wouldn't, just that like I care about you a lot and I would want you to be mine, not share you with him, and things like that. And so, she said, yeah, but, I can't take that chance that you're going to be like you were, before. And I've got a really good thing right now. It's just that, he's a little on the boring side and kind of putting my feet to sleep. So, I want to go and I want to hang out, but I don't want to leave this secure, good thing that I know I have, with him. I'm like, well, that's really not acceptable to me. So I let her go in and we didn't, hook up. But she kept calling after that. She kept texting, where are you going tonight? Where are you going tonight? And I would tell her and she'd show up. And after this went on, like every weekend for like, I don't know, months, couple months, a few months, finally I'm like, look, you're kind of like cock blocking me because, we go home, we don't do anything because I won't. But yet when you're there, we're hanging out together. I can't talk to anybody else. So I can't meet anybody else. I'm kind of in this like limbo in between, And so she's like, well, I don't know what to do. I can't, like I told you my situation, I can't leave him and, I don't want to leave him and I'd like to just hang out with you. As it turned out, one time, where are you at tonight? I'm at the Polyester Club. Well, okay. I knew after that she was going to show up there. So I was kind of like keeping an eye for the door as I'm there. And I'm just hanging out and I see her come walking in the door. As soon as I saw her, I just turned and grabbed the first girl I saw. I'm like, hey, come on, let's dance. And I just started dancing with her. And she even came up to me. Hey, how's it going? I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm dancing. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, okay. Oh, this is so-and-so. Yeah, okay. Have a good time, And that was the last time she did that, And then I ended up having a relationship with that one that I just grabbed randomly. And that turned into something more, which I'll probably tell you about in the next story. Well, guys, if you're still watching, you must have liked the video. And if you did, give it a like. Now, if you want to see more like this, subscribe and click the bell. If you got some extra time on your hands, why not watch another one? You can choose one from the Stories of My Life playlist, which will appear here after I disappear. Or you could watch the next one in the series, which will also appear here. See you in the next one.